Rick, how are you?
Good, buddy. How are you?
I'm great, thanks.
Hey, now listen, the reason we're dressed like this is that we just got together this morning. It's a Sunday morning. We're doing amazing workouts. And you were at the early session at 6.
Yeah.
I came at 7. We thought
6. It was like 5.
Was it 5?
Yeah,
Oh,
I didn't sleep in.
Oh man, you guys! So you were up at 3:30.
Yeah, I was.
Oh well, you can sleep, and I'll just do the rest.
Sure, no problem.
What about his face, man? Did you check out this beard? This thing's going great.
It's temporary. You know, I got tired of getting carded, so I was going for the older look. So now I don't get carded if I go out, to buy cigarettes or alcohol, whatever.
I'm telling you, you're going to get all the best tables. You show up, they think you're a movie star. You get the great table in the restaurant.
Something like that, yeah.
Hey, so cool. Here's what I want to talk to you about today, because you've done such a great job of this in your life, and it's inspired me. And that's the idea of how do we unweight? How do we come to the conclusion that maybe things are running us instead of us living our lives fully?
Yeah.
What kind of things have you done to get past that?
Well, I've really been very conscious of, the more things you obtain or attain throughout your life doesn't necessarily create happiness. And I think the one thing that I've had a journey on over the last number of years, and you've been a big influence of this, is just that desire to be happy and what makes you happy. And I realized that things don't make you happy. And so that's kind of what started the process for me.
Wow, it's very interesting. I think, part of what we learn in Western culture, and especially with us living in Scottsdale, you guys living in Scottsdale now, or me in Sedona, is that, the whole culture is built around the idea of consuming, that we're the car we drive, we're the clothes we wear, we're the mansion that we live in. All of those things tend to run us. That, coupled with the bombardment that we have of information all day long, I think that creates kind of a discord within the human spirit that makes us feel anxious and uncomfortable for no reason.
No question about it. I think you're fooled through marketing, advertising, all the bombardment that you need more. You're always missing something. So whether it's the latest phone or the latest clothing, you're always trying to strive towards something to fill that gap, and you never really achieve it. And you fool yourself thinking that I need to have more. If I get that next thing or that, and I realized, I think early on, I'm still working on it, that doesn't matter at all. It doesn't mean you can't have things you like or things you want to buy, but it's a matter of not being controlled by them and not having that constant feeling of anxiety that I don't have enough compared to my neighbors, friends, family, whatnot. And it was a big aha moment for me when I realized that.
When you went through your divorce, did you downsize?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it actually was really a blessing in disguise. And what's funny was, we have a big joke because, when we split up, we had to, sign everything in terms of in the house, and I left a lot of things at her house. So unlike other couples, we fought about, take this stuff out. I'm like, I don't want that stuff, it's yours. And so we had a big joke on, those are your boxes, not mine. But it was actually, that kind of started the process of really downsizing and things I just don't really need. And there are a number of things that I just hadn't seen for years, and I don't miss them one bit, so they don't control my life.
It's interesting. Somebody was telling me about a statistic I had no idea existed, but self-storage is like the number 3 business in all of the moving industry. I mean, after you talk about the movers and the size of the trucks and all of the stuff where money is made, self-storage is huge. Yeah. So it's like we have these big houses that contain nothing but wall-to-wall stuff, and then we have self-storage, which is more wall-to-wall stuff. Yeah. How do you deal with things in your life where you feel like, maybe you don't need them anymore? What do you do?
Well, you have to really be conscious and aware of the things that serve you and things that don't serve you in your life. And it's really making an effort, because what happens is, and a lot of times it's not by choice, is you just start collecting things over the years. And as you get older, you have different hobbies, and you buy this or buy that. And it's not that you're out there grabbing a million things at one time, but over 10, 15, 20 years, you now have all this stuff, and many of which you probably don't utilize that often. So I did a process of, I know I shared with you the movie Minimalism,
I love that
and read aloud those blogs that they have about really downsizing. And people hear the term minimalism and they think, well, it's just depriving yourself of everything, and that's not it at all. It's about having things that are important to you and that mean something to you and that serve you, and getting rid of the things that do not. And so I did something where I did along with Keith, where I was eliminating one item on day one, then 2 items on day 2, and 3 items on day 3, up to 30 items on day. So it's hundreds and hundreds. And it doesn't have to be big items, but you start getting that momentum going, and you just feel you feel so free and clean when you do that.
Do you have anything left? Is this like
No,
your last shirt?
This is all I've got. So yeah, in fact, I got rid of my shaver, got rid of everything. So no, but yeah, I'm still a work in progress. There's the thing that really you kid yourself with is that I need all this stuff, and by getting rid of it, I'm going to be in some pain. And there is definitely a level of I got to hold on to this. I don't want to get rid of it quite yet.
Yeah,
but then when you do, it's quite amazing. I know you've done the same thing. I mean, I go to your house, and you're a big inspiration. Your house is very peaceful and very calm. There's reasons behind it. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you set your house up for that?
I slaughter animals, and I need it clean so I can just hose the place down.
That's right.
That works out really well for me. I think part of it for me is that I just feel healthier, and I feel less conflicted. This is going to sound really bizarre, but I think everything in life, whether it's living or inanimate, has an energy. And so you have to be very careful about what energy you allow in your personal space. I think that's applicable too to our friends. People have a certain energy, and some of it is negative, and some of it is positive. And Keith and you and I think resonate on a similar level. And I think we really try to improve ourselves and be conscious of things that are important. That's the kind of thing you want to be around. And same thing with the house. You want to be around something where you love the few items that you have, but you don't want it to be conflicting. You want it to be peaceful and calm and a place of peace. And I think that's very helpful, not having things.
So when you walk in your house, you don't feel stressed about not having things. You feel more calm and relaxed in your space.
Well, when I see somebody having a better car, I get a little stressed, because I'm still in that dang rat race in a way. But no, I think you're right, Tim. It's the idea that it's a calm, cool place, and the things don't have anything to do with it. It's just an energy that I see, rather than a place that's collecting items. Don't you feel like too, when we're dealing with things, there's so much stimulation, and things have stimulation by themselves, but then you couple that with this 24-hour news cycle and television and movies and all of the rest. Do you have any kind of guiding principles about how you handle the news, or how you handle like the electronic leashes or iPads and phones? How do you deal with that? Yeah,
well, I've really eliminated and cut that back almost, not to the level that you have, but I would like to. I got rid of cable TV.
Wow.
So I do have, of course, Netflix for the kids and whatnot.
Yep.
Don't watch the news, other than just keeping up to date to some blogs and news feeds that are going to let me know what's going on in the world.
Oh, good.
And then for me, I touched on this on a previous podcast, I am one of the few that is not on social media by choice, because that's just a constant bombardment of things of distractions and the stimulus that just causes that level of stress. I look at it as the equivalent of having a house full of a bunch of items that you're stepping over to get into what you need to do. You've got these goals to go after, and you're stepping over laundry and clothes and all kinds of items and things. Similar with social media, there's some good behind it, but if you have to go through a lot of stuff to get to the goals you want, you miss it.
I so agree with you.
Yeah.
I think the 24/7 deal is the real problem. I think people, you can be working on something, but because all of this stuff is bombarding you, you're constantly saying, hey, what am I missing? What's there? I got to have something else going on. And I think there's like this constant drone, this background drone of things you think you should be doing, but you don't need to do it.
You're missing out on something.
Yeah. But I think the way to get around it is what you do. I also think that you could take like a vacation, just get rid of it for like a week, or get rid of it for a day, whatever your work will allow you to do. So you have no electronics, just one electronics-free day or 2 days or whatever you can stand, where there's none of that. And then secondly, I'm a big advocate of nature, getting out, walking in nature. If you just do an hour walk and try to go where there's no cars, and you know what else? This is really important. It sounds airy-fairy, but it works. Take your shoes and socks off. Walk on the earth. Feel that energy come into you. You're part of the earth. That's your natural habitat. Walk on it. And then I think thirdly, meditation is really helpful to kind of calm that through, calm your life. One last point I was going to make about Alain. There's a guy named Alain Botton we've talked about before. He'll be in the show notes. He's written a book called A Guideline to Dealing with the News, something like that.
Okay.
And he talks about how you can limit your exposure to news and not have it affect you. Do you watch TV at night? You don't watch
I
the
do
news?
not, no. You know, it's funny, it's just kind of over the course of time, I virtually watch no television at all.
Yeah.
And it's been a big difference maker for me,
yeah.
you know, and it just kind of happened over time. Of course, with kids, I have to, if I didn't have kids, I probably wouldn't even have a TV. I would just have my iPad and, you know, regular, you know, things I like to subscribe to, blogs and whatnot, but yeah, I've eliminated it almost altogether.
Isn't that something? You know, it's so different too. I've talked to people who love TV, and it's always going. It's the first thing they turn on in the morning to see the news, and then they watch the news at night, click it off, and go to bed, go to sleep. Some of them have a very hard time being by themselves.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
know, if you spend 5 minutes by yourself and you're starting to get itchy, you know, where's my TV or where's my iPad, or I mean, that tells you something, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So how do you model for your kids the idea that maybe electronics isn't everything?
Well, it is a challenge for sure, especially with young kids that like, you know, the iPad and playing and so forth. So I try to, when we're together, putting it away. I don't allow it at dinner. You know, we focus on conversations. We'll try to play board games or things at home like that, and do minimal things without electronics. I don't have yet. I don't have an Xbox or Wii or anything in my house. I think I'm going to at some point in time. I'm going to have to get into that. But I try to keep it about, you know, being together when we're at the house.
And you know, it shows with his kids, because both Ella and Cade, you can sit down and have a conversation with them, and both of them will talk to you and look you in the eye and wait for you to finish your question or your comment, and then they'll make a comment. It's like playing tennis with your kids, having a conversation.
Definitely.
You've done an amazing job.
Thank you.
You and Lori both with your kids. Well, we're going to wrap up, and here's what we're going to talk about now, which is, well, I was going to make a comment about your beard, but I'm just jealous, so I have to admit it. That's it. So what would you say would be a couple of takeaways from our show today?
I think the takeaways would really be, take a look at an inventory of your life in terms of physical items, and are what you have surrounding you in your, whether it's your workplace or whether your home, is it causing you more stress, or do you feel relaxed and calm? And if you feel any type of anxiety level, just take an inventory of some of the things, and start small, because the challenge is it can be overwhelming for people to like, oh, I've got all this stuff. Start off with one thing, 2 things, right? And you'll notice, you'll start feeling, you get the momentum going, you start feeling better, and I think that's a good advice, and you know, I think that's important.
It truly is. And if you guys have any suggestions that we missed, we'd love to hear them and love to put them out. This is all about helping the community and helping each other get through and be better people and have a better life. Tim, thank you, man.
And hope to borrow your razor for next time.
I love you, Tim. Great job. Thanks.